December 15th, 2012. From San Diego, California, this is episode 8 of You Can Bet on That. Hey everybody, welcome once again to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. We're not making money on this.
Nope.
This is not our job. We're not advantage players. We don't have time for this.
Thank God, because we'd be broke, destitute.
Once again, I'm Mark Duvall here with Dr. Mike.
Hello.
Yeah, we haven't done an episode for a little while, mainly because we haven't been able to kind of get our schedules together.
Yeah.
And
I was out of town.
You took a trip to Vegas. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, we're back on the air, so glad to be back. So Vegas Tripping is reporting that starting next year, Caesars Entertainment Total Rewards, which is their players club, they're going to be changing the number of tier credits required to jump up to the next tier in their. And just to remind everybody, when you join the Players Club, this Total Rewards Players Club, there are 4 different tier levels that you can reach based on your play. Gold is the very first level, so when you sign up for the club, right away you're a gold member. The next level is Platinum, where you get a few more benefits. The next level up is Diamond, where you get quite a few more benefits.
It's a big jump.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
And the top level is 7 stars. And they're going to be changing how many tier credits you need to get to reach each of those levels. Now, you accumulate these tier credits by just giving them action. Playing on slots.
Time of play.
Amount
of play.
The kind of bets you're making.
Right.
When you're playing on the slots, it's pretty straightforward because you put your card in, it's all computerized, they know exactly. When you play table games like we do...
It's voodoo.
Who knows?
It's some kind of voodoo that they do.
Because sometimes I'll play like a half hour and get a ton of points.
Right.
And then I'll play exactly the same way for like 4 hours and hardly get anything.
Right. Some of that, it's got to be they're not... The person entering the data, because it's not a computer now.
They have to manually do it. They watch how you play. Yeah.
Who, and they... Do you ever notice they switch out a lot too? So a guy will be there... seems like 15 minutes later, just like the dealers, 20 minutes later, there's a new one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're always watching everybody. And, it's... So, yeah, a lot of times you get great rating and other times you don't get as good a rating.
Yeah. But anyway, so...
Not to interrupt here, sorry, but my dad is always adamant about making sure they clocked him in and clocked him out.
Right.
And I used to think, God, quit being so anal about that, you know?
Yeah.
But, now, I've thought about this lately. I should be more...
We should...
did you get my play? Did you see how much I played?
Clocking in, definitely.
Right.
But all you have to do is give them your card, and as soon as they give it back to you, they've clocked you in. That's easy. But yeah, clocking out, it's true, because if you walk away from the table and they don't clock you out... an hour later, they may think, oh, when did this guy leave?
Yeah, and they just make something up.
Yeah, right.
And maybe it's a guy who didn't even see you play. And so he's like, oh, he's usually a $10 bet or whatever, and, that's what we're going to give him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you probably need to make sure they watch that.
Yeah.
Right?
But anyway, you accumulate these tier credits, and as you get more, you move up to these different levels in the Players Club. So, again, gold is where you start with as soon as you sign up. It used to be that for Platinum, you needed 4,000 tier credits, and next year it's going to be 5,000. To move up to Diamond, it used to be you had to get 11,000, and next year it's going to be 15,000.
A substantial jump.
That's a big jump.
It's a huge jump.
That's the biggest jump. And like this year, I'm just going to barely eke in to Diamond. Right. I'm just right under the 11,000 mark.
It takes quite a bit of gaming.
And there's no way I'm going to make 15,000 next year.
No, it's quite a bit of gaming to get to that level.
Yeah. So that's too bad. And then 7 stars, it used to be you needed 100,000, and next year it's going to be 120,000.
Yeah, but for a 7-star player, the amount you're betting, it's really not that.
Most 7-star members get there and they're 7 stars, and it's not like they eke into 7 stars.
I got to the 100,000 level before I think April, right, in the year.
Right.
So to get to 120, maybe it's May, you still got, 7 more months of playing. Yeah. So, I don't think it's going to affect the 7 stars or the platinum people.
It's the diamond.
It's the diamond.
And the diamond, like we said, that's where most of the perks kind of kick in, because when you become a diamond member, The casinos have a diamond lounge where you can go in and get free food and drink. Right. As a diamond member, you can like bypass the lines at shows and like at the buffet.
You get a lot more promo stuff, a lot more chips coming your way, a lot more gifts.
Yeah. So that's percentage-wise, at least diamond is the biggest jump. So I'm going to barely make diamond by the end of the year. So all next year I'll be diamond. I'll just live the life of luxury.
Well, maybe you'll gamble more next year. Maybe
I don't know. I gambled so much this year that we'll see. We'll
run that by Sherry, see how that works out.
All right. Something happened this last week at the poker room at Aria. They introduced a table there called multi-action poker. And what it is, it's a single poker table with two dealers dealing two separate games to the same players at the same table. And the way they keep track of everything is the cards for each game are a different color. The chips are a different color. And so they have two games going on simultaneously.
Seems confusing as hell.
I think it's kind of a good idea, but in practice, I can't imagine what this must be like at the table.
Most people, now, if you're a real regular card player, you're pretty adept. You're quick. You make your decisions. But what are you gonna do? You get a table of 8 people, and there's one guy who's maybe not so swift.
Right.
Likes to sit there and think about his hands and everything. And he's playing 2 hands. I mean, he may not even sit at that table.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. Hopefully a player like that isn't going to be interested in a game like this.
But it just seems like it could be so many problems.
Yeah. Right. We'll see. I'd like to... so it was introduced last week. I haven't heard from anybody about how it actually plays. But if anybody out there sees this at the Aria, let us know. But it's, probably it's going to be 2 Hold'em games, maybe 2 no-limit Hold'em games, but you would have to be careful because
one's no limit, one's like 2-4.
That's what some people were saying online. I said you could theoretically have one dealer dealing Texas Hold'em, the other Omaha 8,
right?
And trying to keep track of all that.
Great. But, try it at the home game first. Try it one night. See how that works. Do like Butcher Boy and maybe no Peaky Baseball.
With see how that works. Decks and, I'll have to buy a whole new set of chips so we can do that.
We're gonna have to get smarter friends.
I don't know. There's it seems like it would be confusing, but the idea I think is to make it seem kind of like online poker where you'd be able to play 2 tables at the same time, right? That's their way of doing it.
Right. It's for a bigger rake.
I guess it's just you have 2 dealers there, so you're paying both dealers at the same time.
Right.
So I guess like theoretically, let's say there were only 8 players in the whole poker room. So I guess a table like that would make sense for the poker room because then they'd be getting double rake on all these players, where if they didn't have this table, it'd just be 1 table of 8 players. But it's
also a way to get, well, like you said, I mean, if you have a limited number of tables, which most casinos do, right? A lot of them have small poker rooms. I'm always amazed how small it is.
Aria's is big though. I mean, but you're right. It is true. Some of them are small. Yeah,
and they get more action per table. They might have to pay 2 dealers, but they'd get a lot more games going.
Yeah, it's a real specific kind of player though that would play this, right? I think most poker players would come up and, what the hell is this?
I'll tell you what, I don't know that I would play it.
Yeah, I'd want to try it once.
Of course I'd try it, but after that, I don't know that I'd want to play. It's too much going on. It's one thing online.
Yeah, right.
You don't have a lot of distractions either online. It's usually you and your computer. Right?
Well, and true. The thing about online too is everything's being done for you, basically. Right? You don't have to fumble with chips and keep your cards separate from each other. I should have shown you the picture of the table beforehand, but the table, it's laid out. It's got a separate area. Each player has like 2 different areas, like separated by like some wood to kind of keep them separate. Like the cards for sure, and I don't know if you have to keep the chips. Yeah. I guess you'd have to.
I mean, what if you win a big pot and they rake over and you're trying to stack them? And then you're trying to play the other hand. And you're trying to stack all these chips, and
you're stacking them on the wrong. You could very easily stack them on the wrong.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. And also, it might lead to people dragging bets and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I grabbed the wrong stack.
Right.
And,
That's true.
I didn't really mean to raise,
or say, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Oh, but not for this stack.
Yeah,
Sorry,
right,
I thought
right.
I had. Yeah.
I mean, this seems to me like a lot of complications.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you can see the arguments, right?
Yeah.
Because in a regular table game, every once in a while you get some argument about, he said this and he did that.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. Imagine in a game like that.
Oh, yeah. They'd call the floor over. Both games would have to stop. Like if the floor came over.
Yeah. Some big dispute about what chips he really meant to be all in,
Right. So I think our consensus here is that it sounds kind of cool. We'd like to see it, maybe even try it,
right.
And there's no way it's going to last.
Right.
There's absolutely no way.
I'll be surprised if, 6 months from now there's a game like that.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll actually hear from somebody who's played on it before it
that'd be great.
Eventually goes away. But yeah, if anybody does. All right. So this last week, a new movie came out. A gambling-related movie called Lay the Favorite. And it is based on a book of the same name, written by a woman named Beth Raymer. It's a true story. It's the story about how she moved to Vegas and got caught up in the world of sports betting. She didn't know anything about sports betting before she came to Vegas and kind of got in with these professional sports gamblers, and it's her story. I haven't seen the movie, but I read the book, and I really enjoyed the book. It stars Rebecca Hall and Bruce Willis, and it's kind of in limited release. It's like here in town, it's only playing at one theater.
Right. Probably only appeals to a certain group.
Yeah, probably, because it is a kind of a gambling
movie. Yeah.
It's not getting very good reviews, kind of middling, but I did read the review by Richard Roper, and he liked it. He's a poker player. He's a gambler, so he kind of knows. One of the things that he talked about, that he liked about it, was that, a lot of movies, when they have gambling in them, especially like a poker game or something, they're just not right. They're getting the details of the game wrong.
Right.
How many times have you seen a movie where, they're playing a poker game and a guy says, well, I raised $500. And the other guy says, well, I don't have $500. Well, go
Here's
get
my watch.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. That's not the way it works, right?
Right.
Nobody plays poker like that. But that reminds me, there's a show, an old show from the 80s called Crime Story, a real good cop show.
Police drama.
With like mobsters and everything.
Right.
And during the second season, it took place in Las Vegas. And it took place during the 60s. It was like at some fictional casino, in the 60s. And I remember one scene that took place in the casino, and in the background you could hear a craps dealer saying, all right, 3. The point's 3. 3 is. And anybody who knows craps knows that, well, the 3 can't be the point.
Right.
But I found out later.
You're at the one casino where 3 can be the point.
That's right. It was at Bob Stupak's Vegas World, which is now the Stratosphere, where they play crapless craps, where any point other than 7, obviously, can any number can be the point.
2 can be your point.
2, 3, 11, 12. Yeah. They still have that crapless craps there.
Oh my God. I can't believe people play it.
I know. It's awful. Because the bad thing is that 11, which is an automatic winner for you,
right,
now is a probable loser.
Right.
But you could make your point of 11.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, getting off track here, but one thing that Richard Roper said he liked about Lay the Favorite was that they got all kind of the lingo and the mechanics and all of the sports betting correct. So I'll probably wait for it to come out on it was released on to theaters and to pay-per-view at the same time.
It'll probably be like at Redbox here real quick.
I think pretty soon.
Like
Redbox. I'll probably wait for it to Netflix and then Netflix, catch it. But check it out if you're into gambling movies. Like I said, I really enjoyed the book. So this last week, so let's move on to our poker home game of the podcast. This last week at our poker home game, we played a game called Black Poker or Blackjack Poker. And it works like this. It's actually very simple. It's a 7-card stud, and the best poker hand splits the pot with the best blackjack hand.
Okay.
And the blackjack hand is made up of just all of the player's down cards.
Right. So it'd be 3 cards.
So 3 cards. However, So normally it's going to be 3 cards. You'd look at the
Right.
3 down cards and make your blackjack hand. Whoever had the best blackjack hand will win. But we also had a rule where in 7-card stud, that last card is dealt down. That's your 3rd down card. We had a rule where you could pay to have that last down card dealt up, so that you would have only 2 down cards.
Right. So if you got 21,
Right.
if you got an ace and a 10 down right
Right.
off the bat, you wouldn't screw it up.
Right.
Getting a third
You'd
down
already
card.
have blackjack, so that.
Could be another way to play that too, where you don't do that, it just screws people up.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. Well, yeah.
21 goes to 11 and...
Right. I mean, that is one way we could have played it that way.
Right.
And then if you got like, a pair of 5s down or something like that, it's like, oh, good. Maybe I'll get a face card or something.
Right.
We could do that. It played pretty well. I mean, I think everybody enjoyed it. It was, like you said, if somebody bought that last card up,
you knew what they had.
it was obvious they had a blackjack hand and maybe not a poker hand, right? And that's the way that they were going. It played pretty well. Mary, on one of the hands, she was dealt 2 aces down, which normally in a blackjack game you'd split those. But in this, she just had 2 aces down. Still, maybe she'd make a good poker hand. She ended up getting 2 more aces up to make 4 of a kind.
The best 4 of a kind, too. I love it when people get 4 aces.
And
it
then
seems so more important than like 4.
Well, and in our game, too, that's jackpot, right? We have a jackpot at our home game. Anybody who makes like a natural 4 of a kind or better, they win part of our jackpot. Yeah. So she made 4 aces. So 2 of her aces are down. So then her down card, she got a 9.
Wow.
So she had
21.
She had 21 and 4 aces.
Now, I guess you'd have to make it where a 21 would split. If somebody had an ace and a 10 down, and in this case they couldn't, but let's say someone had an ace and a 10.
Yeah.
And they bought their last card up.
Right.
And then someone like her hit to 21. Yeah. They split? They both have 21?
No, because just like in blackjack, the natural blackjack would win, because the better blackjack.
So she had to have 4 aces to win both ways on that. I mean, didn't have to, but it helped her, because somebody else could have had an ace and a 10 and beat her.
Well, she had all the aces.
Right, I know. I mean, in this case,
right.
But if she had, like, say, she had a full house with 3 aces over and something, and made her 21, she could potentially lose that.
So, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, no, that was the rule, is that, and it had to be a non-busting blackjack hand. So, if, like, all the remaining players all busted, then nobody would get the blackjack half of the pot. Then
stud can got the whole
thing went to the poker hand. Okay. I mean, that never happened. I mean, some people busted, but we never had a situation where everyone who stayed in, busted.
So was it cards read themselves, or was it a declare game?
No declare. No so declare. Cards, you just flipped it over. Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to
because you
figure out, is my 20 going to win or my full
exactly.
house?
That's the thing. And my feeling kind of for that, whether or not you want to buy that last card, I think if you have like 20 or a natural blackjack, buy to have that last card dealt up. But otherwise, just hit. Even if you've got like 19. See, the thing is, if you've got like 19 to start with and you don't have any poker hand potential, just fold.
Right.
Because, to go all that
way with
the 19,
have 20,
with that many
somebody's
people,
going to have 20.
It's not worth it just to try to win half the pot,
Well, and also if you see the cards dealt up and you see like 3 aces out.
Yeah.
Then you're feeling pretty good with your 20.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, my feeling is that, it's tough. If you've got 20 and there's not a lot of action, nobody's like, pumping the pot, you're probably okay, right? And
so 2 natural blackjacks are going to split?
Yeah. You could, just like in poker, you could have a split. Somebody could get quartered on the blackjack.
Get quartered on that,
It never happened when we played, but, we only played one round of it, so, yeah. So, pretty good game, blackjack poker. All right, so you, a couple weeks ago, went to Las Vegas, the November 30th, December 1st weekend. Right. So tell us about that trip and why you went.
The reason we were going was for what Caesars Entertainment calls their Great Gift Wrap-Up. And what it is, they have a couple of weekends, one in December like we went to, and there's one earlier in November, like the beginning of November or something. And you can go to either one of those, and throughout the year, you accumulate points based on your play. Points that are separate from your rewards points and your tier score. Has nothing to do with any of that.
So there are points a year that are specifically for these events.
Specifically for these events.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're based, I guess, on how much you play, you get more points. And throughout the year, like I just got one actually today in the mail that there's an upcoming event in February. And if you go to that, you'll get 280,000 points, gift points.
For these, so they're called gift points.
They're called gift points,
Okay, yeah.
And so these gift points, basically, you accumulate them throughout the year. You take them there to this event. You turn them, you can buy gifts with them. And gifts have a certain point value. So 40-inch flat screen, high definition plasma TV might be, I think it was like 600,000 points or something.
Okay.
So if you had 600,000 points, you get that. You turn your points into gifts. And we took those points that we had accumulated, that I had accumulated over the year, my wife and I, and we went and we purchased our gifts, basically.
So you had to go to Vegas for this.
You have to go to Vegas for this.
Okay.
And it was at Caesar's Palace.
Uh-huh.
And it was a madhouse of people.
So what do you do? Is it like a big conference room?
It was in one of their
into,
huge ballrooms.
Okay.
And they basically had all the gifts that you could purchase there.
Okay, so you can look at them.
You can look at them, touch them, pick them up, whatever.
But you don't...
Okay,
go ahead.
And a point value underneath each one. So how many points we're going to use.
Okay.
So when you went in, they gave you a calculator, one of those big, huge calculators.
Uh-huh.
And you just went around and I like that, okay. And you kept track of your points. Each gift had a little card underneath it that described the gift and how many points it was. So we basically collected these cards and added up our points.
Okay, and you could take the cards with you.
Yeah, you take them with you.
That's the way that you would kind of...
And when you went to check out, they had huge lines of people, but you went, you got in line, you went to the lady, you handed her all your cards that you accumulated.
Everything that you wanted
to buy. She put them in the computer, totaled them up, and that was it. The interesting thing about it was... they had everything. There were things that basically were, $50 items.
Right.
Up to things that were, refrigerators, washer, dryers, big, huge TVs. They had a 3D TV there. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
And my brother was with us. My brother just happened to go. Uh-huh. We were looking at the 3D TV. It would have taken all my points. I could have got it, but it would have taken all my points. And Lynn was like, no way. We're not getting that. Because she had shopped online. You could go online prior and see all the gifts and their point values. And you could form a wish list, which she had printed up and take. So she basically knew what she was getting before we went there.
Yeah.
But she got to see the items. So... the funny thing is, we're talking to the guy, and they had reps from all of these, like the 3D TV guy, the rep was there. Yeah. They had reps for Kenmore, for the washing machine, stuff like that. Right. You could ask them questions and whatnot. So the guy, the 3D guy, my brother said to him, "Oh, do you know so-and-so?" And he said, "Well, yeah, that's my boss." And my brother said, "Yeah, I just talked to him, and because he's in television and they do all." So they formed this thing, and he was real adamant that we get a 3D TV. And he came with like 4 pairs of glasses. Yeah. They threw in all these bonus things, and my brother said, "Don't get it here. I can, if you really need one, we can get it at a wholesale through them." Because Disney does something with the 3D TV. They're into that now.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we ordered all of our stuff. We went and checked out. Another interesting thing was my brother, who's a Diamond member, I just said to the lady when we checked in, I said, he's a Diamond member. Does he get anything? She said, "Well, let me check." And sure enough, he had plenty of points.
So he wasn't even in Vegas for this thing.
No, he was there because we were going and he had a free weekend.
Okay.
And he kind of felt like he wanted to get out of town. Yeah. So he drove and met us there.
Yeah, but he had points.
He had points. He had accumulated them all year just like I had.
Yeah.
Just not as many because he was a Diamond member. But she said, "Oh yeah, you have so," and he did not receive anything in the mail telling him to go to this or anything.
But he had points.
He had points.
So he's able to buy stuff.
Oh, he bought a steam carpet cleaner and something else. He bought like 2 items, 2 pretty big ticket items. So I would assume, a lot of people have points, don't even know it.
Yeah, I probably had some.
So
I should have gone.
You probably had some.
Great.
Yeah, you probably
lost out.
Got a candle or something. A nice little candle. But anyway, my wife totaled them up. The total value. She went online when we got home, looked everything up, got the value of it, the suggested retail. It was well over $3,000.
Really? That's great.
Well over $3,000.
And then they just deliver it to you later.
And it's funny. Okay, that was December 1st.
Yeah.
We've received. It comes separately from the manufacturers. We've received about, I'd say, maybe 80% of the stuff already.
Nice. Okay.
And today's what, the 14th?
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
So we've received, most of it already.
Nice.
There's a few items that they emailed us. I mean, Caesars emails you every day and says, this is being shipped today.
Yeah.
One thing, a big butcher block cheese cutting thing that my wife got is back ordered, but they called and said, oh, but don't worry, it'll be here before Christmas. Yeah. So interesting. Now, Harrah's Rincon had the same promotion. Separate points didn't affect your other points.
Yeah. And
they for their players, and we got some stuff there. We still haven't got that.
Really?
We've got a few of the items, and that was a month before this one. So, but they're coming. I mean, they email us and say they're on their way.
Yeah. So that was your trip. So how'd the gambling go?
Well, gambling started off great.
Yeah.
The first night I was up well over $6,000, like almost $6,500 the first night on craps. And you know what? All because of hardways.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy rolled a bunch of hard sixes. I hit it for $50, $100, and then twice at $200 level.
Wow.
So that right there is
that's going to
huge payouts.
Yeah.
And that was the first shooter of the trip.
Yeah.
The very first shooter of the trip. I walked away from his winning roll with like $3,500 ahead.
Yeah.
And then we went over to Flamingo. That was at Caesars. We went over to Flamingo, won there.
Yeah.
And it was a good table after good table. That's Friday night.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Saturday.
Yeah.
Which is the usual, let me win a little and then destroy me. Yeah. So Saturday I gave most of it back, but not all of it.
Yeah, see, you came home a winner.
A winner.
Because you weren't there very long.
Oh,
right?
no. We left early Sunday morning. Yeah. So I did come home a winner. So I was happy. I was determined not to give all that back.
Good for you.
So
good for you. Probably helped that your wife was with you.
Yeah, that helped a lot. So I brought back all the money I took, plus a little extra, plus over $3,000 in gifts.
Yeah, good.
So, and once again, I have to say, the people at Caesars were so nice. And it was so well organized.
Good.
I couldn't believe how well organized it was. And there were a lot of diamond people there getting gifts.
Yeah.
When you checked out, they had like 20 lines for diamond people, and they had 5 or 6 for 7 stars.
All right, so maybe next year I'll be able to go
to the gift wrap.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Yeah, and last year I didn't go.
Yeah, but even though you had the option,
the option to go. They sent me the thing. I didn't really realize how good it was. Yeah. I just thought, go and what are you going to get? A little gift or something? And so I blew it off. And then this year when I got the thing in the mail, I just, out of curiosity, I told my wife, well, check into this, see what we can actually get. When she started looking at all the items we could get with all the points, she's like, well, we got to go to this.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, all in all, a really good trip.
Good. All right. Good. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget to visit our website, youcanbetonthat.com, where you can check out our show notes and leave comments. Also, you can follow us on Twitter @YouCanBetOnThat. Or you can email us with questions, comments, complaints, whatever you want to say to us.
Have we gotten any emails yet?
We got one from a friend of ours.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Right.
Tell your friends about the show. Right. We need I'm trying to promote it online, but again, just, I've got other things. I've got a job. I'm not making a living gambling.
Yeah, and if there's something seriously you want to talk about or hear about, I'd be more than happy to talk about it.
Yeah. Send in something that's not gambling related. Maybe we can talk about that for 5 minutes.
You know what we got to do real quick here, though? We got to find out where 7 stars came from, the status of 7 stars. I understand gold, platinum, diamond, they're going for like precious metals and stuff. And then you're a 7 star. Well, what the I believe that they created 7 stars for like a particular player. Like this whale came in and was like throwing around millions of dollars, and I think they said, we've got to like create. He needs his own status.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's how it started. I'll look that up.
Okay.
All right, well...
Yeah, find out, because I sure would like to know. I mean...
Yeah, I don't know if Seven Stars had something to do with him, or where the name...
He got to pick the name. Oh, I want to be called Seven Star.
Maybe that was it.
That was it, for just no reason.
It could be.
I like stars.
It could be that. So our email address is youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Keep gambling, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.